Hi everybody, welcome to the video, welcome to my channel, welcome back if you're here again, welcome for the first time if you're visiting me for the first time. I hope you enjoy the video. So where we are with this video is sort of part 2 of a color scheme that I've been trying to do sort of a series with. And these are the two pieces that were done in the first video, and I will link that up here or somewhere on the screen to the first video on the series. So this was a 10 by 10 cradle wood panel, and I resined it, and that one came out real nice. And then this one is a 14 by 14 shallow canvas, and I resined that as well. I was looking for a little bit of deconstruction. I was mostly playing around with the color scheme. I really did like the what's the word I'm looking for? The contrast that I get with using the black cell activator. Although I'm feeling a little bit like it's slightly dark. So there's a couple of things with this color scheme, while I love it, that I felt needed a little tweaking, and so that's where we're at today. I've tweaked the color scheme just a little bit, and I'm going to do some coasters with my tweaked version of the color scheme. So things that are the same: ball gown, TLP, just mixed up just like before. This one is Anthraquinone blue, also just mixed up just by itself. I think I put a slightly bit more pigment in to this mixture this time than I did the last time. Just I wanted a little deeper color of the Anthraquinone blue. And then the other things that are the same is this one, which is champagne gold and rich espresso. I think perhaps this time I was a little heavier on the rich espresso than I was on the champagne gold than I was the last time. This is basically 2 to 1. 2 to 1 champagne gold to 1 rich espresso. So I have a feeling the first time I literally just put like a drop or two of the rich espresso. So this is going to be a little darker than the first color that we used in the other pieces. But again, same paints and pigments being used. The other thing that is also still the same is the Prehnite pigment, that gorgeous green. That one is the same. And this color is essentially the same. It just, if you'll remember from the first video, this color was left over from the Nate's Art Lab September challenge where we mixed colors. And so I had used up the whole container on the last video, and I peeled the paint out of the cup. I let it dry and peeled the paint out of the cup that I was working from, and then I mixed some more to sort of get pretty close to what we had. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that on camera. And obviously that's going to dry a little darker, and then at that point it should be a pretty good match. So how I did that is I started with tail feather again, which is how the original color had been created. And I used a little, quite a bit actually, of Payne's Gray in this one to get it to that smoky blue. But this time to also add a little smoke to the equation, I put a little bit of Wild Atlantic in there because I had just recently received this in an order that I did. So same basic color, but just mixed slightly differently to get to it. So that's the first change, was just that this was mixed differently, but the color is essentially the same. The second change is that the Titan green pale just was a little too pale for me. There was no pop, there was no pizzazz. I love the color, but it was sort of just getting lost. It was almost like, why am I bothering to use it? So my instinct was to give it a little more pop, and initially I said, how about like Phthalo Green? And I wasn't really sure, and was kind of mulling on it for a few days. Then I happened to be watching Lisa Marvin, and it's probably an older video, and she had Titan Green Pale, and she's like, oh, and I added a little Phthalo Green, and look at that. And I was like, okay, well, my instincts are not terrible, because if she did it and the color was beautiful, then that's what I did. So it's Titan Green Pale with a little bit of Phthalo Green. All I had was these like super high flow acrylics, but again, it was just a couple drops that went in there. Okay. So that's the second, really the first change, but the second differentiation from the paints that were used here. The third thing is that, again, I love the black for the contrast. Every time I pick this up, I see something new. Like, you just see all of this Prehnite in here. I really do love it. I just wanted to see if I could improve it a little. So the other thing is just, I feel it's a little dark. So I am going to take my black cell activator, and I am going to put on top some silver cell activator and see how that does. So I've got my Canela spinner for my coasters. It's covered in, you know, that sticky wrap. And I've got a set of round coasters, and I've got a set of square coasters. And we're going to just make some coasters. So I'm going to readjust the camera so you can see the painting a little better, and we're going to do round 2 of this color scheme on some coasters and see if the changes I made make a difference. All right. Okay, let's get started. So one thing I did forget to mention before when we were talking about the colors and some of the changes I made with the colors is that the other change I made was with the pouring medium. I moved to a non-varnish pouring medium. I did this because I was feeling as though I was struggling a little with the way that my cells were forming, and I initially attributed that to experience and lack of it, which I kind of have. So I don't have a ton of experience doing this, and so I thought maybe that was the reason why I was struggling with that. So I was watching some other videos, and then folks were mentioning that they were not using varnish in their pouring medium as much now in an effort to keep that cell integrity better. So I said, well, maybe that's part of the problem. I still think experience is very much part of the problem, but I think it could also be that. So I changed my pouring medium to just the 2 bases. It's like a Valspar deep Base C or something. I'll put it in the description. It's a Valspar base, and I use a Behr base. It's not Behr 8300 because I can't get that, but it's a deep base Behr with like a green strip at the top. Again, I'll put all of that in the description. I also bought myself a little PPG Multi Pro, but right now I'm still using the Glidden Essentials eggshell, you know, white eggshell. So I'm going to layer this the same way I did before to the best that I can remember it. And I do think I remember it. So, and this is my silver cell activator. This is also Amsterdam silver. That's what the silver cell activator is. Yeah, no, the cell activator is good. And then this is black. And this is the black cell activator that I mixed up with the last video. So it should work well. It's pretty fresh. So I'm going to go ahead and put my pillow here. Okay, the pillow feels thin, but that's okay. So I'm going to start with the darkest blue, like I did before. And then I know I ended with that. And then I think I did this ball gown pigment. And then I think I did the DecoArt paints. And then the Prehnite pigment. I mixed that Titan Pale with the Phthalo Green. It's nearly the same as the Prehnite, but I can still tell the difference because the Prehnite is so sparkly. And that's what I want next. I want a pigment, sparkly pigment next. And then I will put the Titan Green along with the, now I said I was going to do this the same layering, and honestly I can't even remember if it was. But it's essentially, it started the same and it ended the same, that I know. And then I've got the Anthraquinone blue at the top, because I know that's what I did last time. That feels like a ton of paint, so hopefully I didn't overdo it. Let me get these out of the way just so I have a little more room to work. Okay, so for the cell activator, we're going to have first the black, and then the silver, got a nice big crop of coasters out of this color scheme, and some of these will just probably be sold as singles, individuals, because these four don't match each other that well, just because I just was struggling and I kept changing things up. But we have a set of 4 of these round ones. Sorry for the shadow. And then we have another set of 4 of the square ones with the swipe. So it was great. I got, so what did I get? 2 sets and 4 single coasters out of this color scheme, and I really like it. And these will be resined, and then they'll be sold hopefully at in December. Been making a lot of coasters for my holiday markets. So thanks for being here, and come back and paint with me again.